Hello, my friends, and welcome back to a very special match of Beyond All Reason. Every so once in a while, we do see players try and make this sort of a thing work. Today, we're going to be taking a look at what ended up being a 4 versus 12. No, your eyes do not deceive you. Indeed, this map is extremely lopsided, usually meant as a defensive map, so you play this against raptors or scavengers, but in this case, we have 12 noobs going up against, I guess, 4 higher level players. Wouldn't necessarily call 28 the pro levels there, but certainly a little bit more experienced here. Now, I'm surprised to see that we don't have a medal bonus here. Yeah, no medal bonus here. That's not good. Usually when we see these matches, they typically contain some sort of medal bonus for the team on the other side, because of course they have to contend with not only starting with less medal spots overall as a team, but also starting off with less medal in total, right? Because each one of these commanders spawns with 1,000 medal in the bank, as well as the 1,000 medal or so tied up in their commander, whereas the blue team is going to spawn with, well, 12 times as much of that many, or well, 4 times as much of that many. 3 times as many? 3 times as many. There we go. Brightworks doing math live on a video. You'll love to see it. Already an air scout coming out here by River Run, and I mean, there's really no way for the red team to prevent this. We do have an anti-air turret up for here from Snow Draken, so that's nice, I guess. Yeah, you can see Barney Dino, the orange player here, already aware of the fact that they could absolutely transport over to them and do a little bit of transport shenanigans. Usually on a map like this, it's pretty well established. It's like a gentleman's rule. You're not just gonna calm bomb the enemy bases, because obviously, if you just went ahead and sent all your commanders across the map, you would easily be able to shoot down all of the other, all the opponents with less commanders to defend right there. Sort of that mutually assured destruction usually keeps the 8v8s balanced, but well, I guess River Run, not abiding by that gentleman's rule here, going to move the commander very far forward with the transport here. Not giving Snow Draken any chance. Yep, gonna move forward, claim this metal extractor. We do have the grunt moving forward, so at the very least, yeah, we do spy that. Very nicely done by the yellow commander. At the very least, giving him a chance to address this commander moving forward here. So, when you're playing from this position, right, effectively you're playing from behind right here. The economy almost 3 times as large for the blue team as it is for the red team here. You essentially have to trade extremely efficient trades. So one of the things that I do like is that we're going for thugs on the northern side. I think res bots are going to be necessary here as well. We're going for aggravators as well. There's just no economy here yet, though. Yeah, this is the problem. You just don't have enough economy in order to deal with all this. Oh, okay. That's just BM right there. River Run abducting one of those units. Oh, well, okay. We need to keep it in the plane over here. I guess that ended up working out all right. If you keep it in the plane, you can just capture it. No reason not to capture it, and just now it's your unit. Usually ends up working out pretty well. The scout plane is massive, though. It does allow River Run to see exactly what's going on over here, and he notices, hey, I can just move the commander up onto this high ground. So if we're going to abuse transport shenanigans, you might as well abuse them all the way. And so River Run is going to take this high ground right here, denying that metal extractor to the yellow commander. This is already looking like a mess on the northern side. Southern side looking a little bit better. Mecha Masumene. Almost certain I butchered that. Gonna be pushing forward here, claiming at least a couple of these metal extractors. We'd love to see these 2 or 3 claimed here as well. The players in the backline have the stablest economy, so maybe they'll be able to do something to help out their teammate. And we have an anti-air bot over here now. But it's all about efficiency. So how efficient can we be here? Aggravator's the perfect choice for going up against this laser tower over here. And it was scouted, because remember that unit was transported over this area, so it did end up getting a pretty good look of exactly what's going on over there. Snow Draken forced to pull the commander forward. So one thing we could do, we could sacrifice the commander, try and blow up this commander, get some res bots, and then use those res bots to pick up the commander, 1 or 2 of those commanders, and start to level the playing field here. Obviously, you could eat the metal there as well, and that's another option for if you wanted to try and get a little bit more eco out. Trilos going to be transporting the commander forward as well. Oh, yeah, all right. Well, that's a huge catch. I was looking across the map, but I'll tell you exactly what happened here. The commander was picked up to try and evacuate this island, and the anti-air bot shot it down out of the transport plane. And there we go. There's 1.25 thousand metal lying in ruin right there for Snow Draken. Eat that up and turn it into a little bit more economy, or a couple more units, or anything really at this point, and all will be well here. No build power in the backline, by the way, over here. I think the constructor was lost. Yeah, constructor was lost to the LLTs over here, so those aren't going to be an option anymore. But at the very least, that's an excellent start for the yellow commander. It's exactly the kind of move that we need to see. This, however, is not looking very good. Prygazin's cap going to be going up against the red commander. We do have a vehicle coming out here, a lasher, ready to start firing away. Not going to be ideal, though. Oh, yeah, those pawns pull the trigger. They want to anyways. You can see they try to start moving forward to grab all that, but not going to happen quite yet. Essentially, if you want to balance a game like this, it comes down to either putting an equal amount of experience and true skill on one side and putting, you know, an equal amount on the other, or putting basically a huge metal imbalance on one side. And we haven't got a metal imbalance on the red team here. And I do see we have a 40 true skill player as well as a 35 true skill player over here. Makes me wonder why they thought this would be a balanced match. Still interesting, to say the very least, to maybe see what these commanders can come up with as far as efficient ways to deal with this. Shooting down commanders out of the sky is certainly one of them. This area is broken eventually as well. Would love to see that claimed for the medal. Helicopter trying to claim this high ground and actually doing a decent job of it. Would love to see this claimed as well. It's a ton of energy that could go back to the red team here. Beamer turret is up. Ooh, and those hurt so bad. Yeah, they're just sturdy enough to take the punishment from quite a lot of those early T1 solutions to static defense. The aggravator, the lashers, the shell shockers, all that sort of stuff with just a little bit of repair. And just like that, you can see absolutely brutal trades right there as all of these bots lie in ruin right now. Absolutely not the efficiency that you're hoping for here in this kind of a fight. Janices do get some decent connections over on this side. Yeah, is it enough though? Well, keep landing a couple more like that. The res bots are out though. I was gonna say, you keep landing a couple more like that and it'll be well worth it, but the res bots are here to patch up all these, so it really doesn't even matter how much damage you do to them if you don't kill them. Put them down or they will just get back up and keep on fighting. Janices are nice in that sense. They're gonna overkill a lot of these, so when their missiles connect and when they connect on the same target, yeah, they're gonna go down in a big way, which means obviously that the res bots can't bring them back to life. Those cheeky little necromancers. A little bit of a run by over here. Oh no, Snowdraken slowly losing it. Where'd all the metal go? I guess we lost it to a bunch of units that ran by right here. Yeah, you can see all these units in yellow that are now lying on the bottom of the field. We're just building mass pawn right now to run by. Yeah, this is the problem, right? You have to contend not with one army, not with two armies, but with multiple different armies. 3 armies per commander, essentially, for the red team here. Vehicles versus bots is a, well, it's a fairly efficient fight for the red, or the orange commander, pardon me. Brightworks knows his colors, I promise. Not what history would say about that, but you can take my word for it. Rocketeers here to blast down the LLTs. Janice's jump forward. This is one of the solutions to the Janus that was just kiting with Rocketeers. They do outpace the Janices, so it is possible. It's tricky, but it is possible. Yeah, Snowdraken. No way to spend the metal right now. Yeah, we've got the Constructor working on the backline right here, but actually just a complete lack of build power in the backline. You can see the metal is building slowly but surely, but we just don't have the units for it. Oh no. Constructor is in trouble here. Grunt's trying the very best, and we are picking off 1, 2, 3 of those pawns slowly but surely here. The defender's advantage is real. At the end of the day, this will be cleaned up here by these defensive grunts, but man, definitely a lot of damage right there. The commander forced off the line is definitely trouble, and losing that constructor right there is also a pain. Resbots would definitely be the name of this game as far as I can tell. We do go for a resbot here. Either picking these units back up and putting them on the front lines, or just eating up the metal and turning them into better units, more efficient units like thugs or aggravators. Wouldn't be the end of the world here. Shell Shockers now starting to be built in mass right now by Trilos, who did go for a forward vehicle bay. Gonna be really difficult for that vehicle bay to stay alive if any push comes through here, but right now the reinforcements and the choke points and all that are all set up in such a way that it'd be pretty difficult for the orange commander to get that opportunity, so I think all is probably well with that setup. But I mean, I say a forward vehicle bay, the blue team holding easily 2/3 of this map right here, whereas the red team controlling the back half. Now I do wonder about this a little bit. I'm sure you could count the metal extractors and see. If we just take a count of exactly how many metal extractors, I wonder if there's more metal extractors, like if there's double the amount of metal extractors on this side as there are out here on this side. That would be one way to balance this map without actually having to give a metal advantage. I don't know the answer to that, but if you're feeling up to it, I've given you a nice wide view. You can feel free to go ahead and count them up. I'm not sure exactly what the answer to that question is, but if the map is balanced that way, I suppose it might explain why there was no metal advantage, but even so, usually a 33% or almost a 50% metal advantage is almost guaranteed for one of these matches. It's certainly shocking not to see one. And frankly, it's shocking to see how well the commanders in red are doing right here. Would have expected the pressure to just be overwhelming at this point. Man, that is a devastating army of maces right now. Snow Dragon just doesn't have any forces out on the field here. We're suffering from low power. We're suffering from low build power. It's a mess right here on the yellow side. You can see the APM stacking coming into play right here, where the yellow commander is just having to deal with so much different stuff at once. The deterioration of play is slowly coming up here. There were some nice plays in the early game, but slowly, like sand in the palm, it's slipping out of control right now for the yellow commander Snow Dragon. I've been focusing a lot up there, but it's because mainly the southern side is just a stalemate, still revolving around this single beamer turret, just constantly being resurrected right there, repaired, kept in line. You need 2 shell shockers here to break this tie. Oh, but the gauntlet is up and running. Oh no, the gauntlet breaks this tie for the Seafoam Green Commander. Yeah, those mass slashers, not as oppressive as they once were. Used to be a devastating force, now not so much. Commander goes down up here just before that gauntlet came online. Oh, that's actually really huge. 2% left on that gauntlet is really nice. Resbot immediately comes over here for the orange commander. Nicely done. Oh, could we resurrect it? Oh, no, it's gonna despawn, isn't it? Gauntlet goes away. If we reclaim that, we would have gotten nearly 1,000 metal right there out of the gauntlet because it was just about completed. That would have been a really funny play. A really bizarre way to farm up a whole bunch of resources like that. Trillos will deny a portion of this reclaim, but already more than half of that reclaim went back to the orange commander, so definitely well worth it. This is a tricky battle. This choke point does concentrate all the forces, then obviously those Janices that do not exist any longer, worth noting, would have a fabulous connection right there. Maces cannot push into LLTs without taking a little bit of damage, so I don't mind that we're still setting up LLT for us. It's a little bit sketch because as soon as you go for Rocketeers, those LLTs are effectively worthless. But until then, yeah, I don't mind it whatsoever. Wind Turbine's also going to be extremely powerful, so I'm glad to see that we're building a whole lot of those. We have an idle constructor in the back here. I'm being so critical of Snow Dragon over here, but it definitely feels like this is one of the lanes that's already been won, quote unquote. It's been won as best as it could be won, I suppose, for the red team, so I'd love to see that advantage expressed. Maybe no surprise who I'm rooting for here. The underdog, definitely the red team. Now finding a way to break through. Yeah, a couple of these lashers just decide, wait a second, we don't need to break through this impervious defense on the southern side. We can just leak on past and do a bunch of damage elsewhere. I'd love to see some assault units sent around, just a couple of grunts, a couple of pawns sent across the map to try and snipe metal extractors all over the place. A couple of Centurions left over here, by the way, as just a guarding force. Love to see that. We're thinking about protecting our investments over here. That's always good to see. We could go for the cloak and D-gun here. It's always a viable strategy. We don't have enough energy to cloak and move at the same time, but you go for an energy storage, and usually you can afford a couple seconds of movement, and then you just recharge, and then move forward and recharge, and so on and so forth. Surprised with the lack of shell shockers here. Yeah, we have 2 shell shockers for the orange commander here. We have tons and tons and tons and tons right here for the the lavender commander over here, pardon me. 10 shell shockers is the actual number, in case you were curious. Rocketeers trying to move over here, but the shell shockers definitely have that advantage of they're not particularly hindered by the terrain right here. Yeah, they can just fire up and over and onto the face of those yellow rocket bots. And that is pretty inconvenient for Snow Dragon here. Actually, yeah, really inconvenient for those bots. Typically, bots have a terrain advantage when there's hills and whatnot over here, but this is actually one case where the bots are actually struggling a little bit. Finally, they get to connect with all this, though. Oh, the shell shockers, they just rain down so much fire right on top of those poor bots. Down they go. All right, maces are pushing forward. We do have the res bots here, as well as a resurrected army of pawns and grunts. If we come in from the right angle, I think this is definitely a fair enough fight. Can't lose the res bots, though. Yeah, the res bots go down, and that means this army lose all of its sustain. Not ideal here. Yeah, the trigger is pulled, but there's also Centurion in the mix there, which is a nice tactical decision right there from Duke Nukem. Remembering that those Centurions exist, and they're extremely good against those T1 units. Thugs up on the hill to blast away at a lot of this, but already just so much metal on the field. It's going to be really difficult for the yellow commander to hold all this. I'd love to see more res bots running over the hill and trying to reclaim from the back line of this. Essentially forming a pincher maneuver. Commander could certainly D-gun away some of this. Yeah, nice threatening right there. Positioning the commander in the right spot right there to make sure that there's a little bit of hope to D-gun that away. Does save the day, at least for a little while. A resbot or two would absolutely secure the deal right here for Duke Nukem, though, so I'd love to see that for essentially either of these commanders. Resbots, very OP. My goodness, we're going heavy in the lashers. There was at one point a meta that revolved around lashers. You could simply build 1 million of them, and they were effectively impossible to counter. They have such a long range and such a relatively high fire rate. They are lock-on missile launchers as well, so they don't really care about you zipping or zagging your way out of the line of fire there. You can see they just lock on everything. We're certainly up into those numbers where the lighter bots are going to struggle quite a lot, but medium tanks are really not going to have a problem. I think we've already got enough medium tanks here to jump on top of these lashers. Seriously, they're so good against countering those missile trucks nowadays. Double gauntlet on this side. I guess Fryagozin's cap has essentially just realized, hey, if I just hold this line right here, the metal advantage remains in our favor. So it's worth it to just make this a pain in the butt for any commander to push through over here, and then eventually we'll just overwhelm them on the southern side. And it looks like it's working. For the time being, the red commander has no way out. There's no solution to this. Commander goes down on the front there as well. Those commanders much more valuable to the red team than they are to the blue. Well, there we go. I mean, enough missile trucks and anything can happen. A lot of those medium tanks go down. Centurion in a little bit of trouble here as well. So these are the trades we need, right? We need these rocket bots to continue kiting and continue fighting and continue blasting away from long range here. Any unit we can knock over right now on the blue side is going to be huge for the yellow player. Each and every one of those units represents a metal deposit that the yellow player should be harvesting. Absolutely the only way you're going to stay in a game like this. Commander moving forward, hopefully to reclaim right here. Maybe I'm harshing on it pretty hard, but it's really important. I mean, it's impossible to overstate just how important those reclaim fields are when you're in an uneven matchup. It's the reason why bots versus vehicles is even possible in the first place, is because you have those res bots, and because those res bots can completely turn the tide of a battle, because you just end up with 3 times the army size after eating up your opponent's tanks. One of those really difficult things to master, one of those things that's conceptually understandable but really difficult to master and beyond all reason. One of the things that the very best at the game are really good at doing is gauging the fight, losing ground, but using the metal that they gain from it in order to make up the difference. Oh, this hurts so bad. That hurts so bad. There was so much metal down the drain. Easily half that army got obliterated by the shell shockers there, and another third of the army was obliterated up north as well. So much metal going down right there. This is not an efficient army. I like that we're going for T2 here. I think we should just stop T1 production, though. We have so many constructors here, actually. My goodness. Easy to forget how many constructors you have. 3,000 metal worth of T1 constructors here for paid. Or, pace, sorry. I mean, it was a little covered up right there by something. The red line is crumbled. Yeah, I mean, the red commander just didn't have any economy to produce anything with. Now there's tons and tons of missile trucks over here. The luxury of the blue team is that they don't have to worry about the efficiency. So while the red team's army was extremely inefficient and ended up biting into the rears, the blue team's army is extremely inefficient, but it doesn't really matter because they've just got that mass behind their back. Their economy just about 4 times, a little more than 4 times bigger than the blue team, or than the red team's. Resbot. Oh, I can't lose the resbots. Can't lose the resbots. Resbots are radar invisible, so you cannot detect them with the radar tower. They have to be detected with line of sight. What that means is you can pull off cheeky shenanigans by hiding them in corners. Corners where the enemy might not get line of sight. Around over here or over here. You can come in and you can reclaim a whole bunch of this while they're not paying attention. And eventually end up doing some decent work. Shell shockers up on the high ground over there. Mace is now in the bases. This is looking devastating here for the yellow commander. Yeah, we're starting up twin guards and light laser towers here, but unfortunately the metal production just wasn't up to par here. We didn't manage to get a hold of this reclaim field, and I'm so surprised that the blue player isn't managing to grab that reclaim either. Orange commander, I guess, not gonna come to the rescue here. Oh no. The tanks were sent on over and then pulled away. I'm not sure, whoops, pardon me. Not sure exactly why. We're just leaving our yellow commander to die here. Ah, what a bummer. Teamwork makes the dream work, and unfortunately for the yellow commander Snow Draken, there's just no reinforcements coming. It is all quiet in the base of the yellow commander. Like the energy storages, it's always nice, especially when you're super reliant on wind energy. We have unclaimed metal extractors over here. That's so weird. Like, we claimed this one, but we didn't claim this one. Feels really, really strange. Not sure exactly what's going on here. It's the kind of inefficiencies all over the place that you just really can't afford if you're going to be playing a intentionally unbalanced game like this. Yeah, construction turret goes down. Won't be long before the wind turbines fall as well. Advanced solar is alive, and there's a single constructor retreating for its life. 4.8 thousand metal in that reclaimed field right there. So many maces being built right now from the blue commander. Duke Nukem definitely could benefit from a little bit of a tech up. T2 units are on the field right now from the dark blue player, the almost navy blue player right there. A little bit lighter than a navy blue. Pace says GG. It's GG if we don't see some T2 on the field immediately. We do have T2 coming out of the lab right here. It's a Quaker. Going to be the first T2 to hit the field. They're not in position though. LLT's not terrible against the sprinters there. Hound's, however, going to be essentially the perfect counter. We built a salamander, interestingly enough. Pace decides to tap out of the game. In fact, the red team in whole decides to tap out of the game, and I suppose it's understandable why. Losing one battle and then another, and eventually not being able to cover each other's flanks and losing so much of that reclaimed field just meant that eventually the red team crumbles under the weight. Admittedly, not the unexpected conclusion that I was hoping for, but still really interesting to see these types of games. I think there's something here. I think there's definitely a game mode to appreciate here. So let me know what you think about that down below. Let me know if maybe we should experiment more with this. Maybe live on stream Tuesdays and Saturdays, 12 PDT, in case you feel like joining in. It would definitely be a bit of a special event, but I'll see what I can do. Other than that, though, I sure hope you enjoyed this otherwise bizarre game of Beyond All Reason, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out, everybody.